If you're new here, I'm Sarah. Today I'm going to be opening a box we got from Seed Savers Exchange, and it is our potato shipment. We went ahead and we ordered potatoes, I think it was back probably beginning of February. This is so cool. So I took the first bag out of the box and I noticed there was a pamphlet, and it's all about how to grow potatoes, and it literally is telling you step by step, which is so awesome. I love how thorough they are with everything. So the first group of potatoes we got is the German Butterball, and I got these for two reasons. One reason is because they said they were good for mashed potatoes, and I just love to make homemade mashed potatoes. And the other is because they said they were very good for storing. We've had really poor luck storing our potatoes we grow, and I'm not quite sure why. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna try this year to store some of these potatoes. The other potato we got is the Desiree, and we got these potatoes because they are red potatoes, which are just delicious, right? I really like red potatoes for cooking while leaving the skins on. I'm not really a huge fan of leaving skins on other potatoes, but I do like the red potato skins. I don't know. So that's why we got the Desiree red potatoes. The first thing we want to do with our potatoes, if we have time, is called chitting. We're going to take our potatoes, and where you can see some of the biggest sprouts, we're going to go ahead and we're going to just place them in a tray with this side up. You want to try to be careful with your potatoes, because these little sprouts that are starting to form, if they get bumped or knocked, they're going to break right off. Set these potatoes in a sunny spot inside. It needs to be about 50 to 65 degrees to keep them safe, but to get the sprouts growing. We're gonna leave them there for about 1 to 2 weeks. We're gonna leave them with the biggest sprout size up, for about 1 to 2 weeks until we're seeing some growth on those. All right, so we've had the seed potatoes under the light for about a week, just a dry, warm spot, and you can see we're getting a lot of growth on the little sprouts. So we're gonna try to leave them about another week before we get them cut up. All right, so my potatoes have been sitting for about 2 weeks, and the sprouts are coming back. I had them mailed to us, so a lot of the sprouts had broken off in shipping, so now we can really see where they're at, how good they're doing, and I'll show you a couple. Now I'm going to cut up my potatoes into those small chunks ready to plant, and we have planted whole potatoes before, and that works fine as well. The one thing I am using to help me is I am a very hands-on person. I actually have a golf ball, because I want to make sure that any that are about this size or smaller I don't cut. So there are a couple of the potatoes that are about that size, so I'm not going to cut them, I'm going to plant them whole. The rest of the potatoes, I think I'm going to go ahead and cut at least once. Some of the smaller ones I'm probably just going to cut in half. I want to make sure that I have at least 1 or 2 of those sprouts on each cut I make, and then I'm going to lay them in my tray face up to dry. Cut up all the potatoes that were larger than a golf ball size, made sure each one had 1 or 2 sprouts, and I faced all the cut sides up. And I'm gonna leave them in a dry spot to scab over for a couple days, and as soon as they kind of have that hard scab, like can't quite be punctured so easily, Actually, I shouldn't be touching these because I'm just going to get germs in them and that won't be good. So don't touch them after you cut them, even though it's tempting. Let them scab over, and as soon as they get that nice scab in a couple days, they'll be ready to plant. So our potatoes have been sitting drying for a few days, and this is kind of what they look like. So I made it out to the garden, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna plant the potatoes. We have not had good luck with potatoes ever, and it's always kind of bothered me. My grandpa was known as Tater, not because that was his name, but because he grew a lot of potatoes and he did it really well. So today I'm going to try to do it a little more like he used to and see if that helps. So what he would do is from my understanding, he's been gone a long time, so from my understanding and stories and all, he would get a tire and he would fill it with potatoes, and then as they would grow up, he would add a tire and fill it with more dirt and more potatoes, and go on and go on and go on and so forth, and he would end up with all these potatoes when he would take the tires off. And I don't want to use tires. I'm a little leery of what's in them and what could get into the vegetables, so I am actually just doing a pile of dirt for today, and I'm gonna start kind of with that lower level of potatoes, and then if need be, I have some fencing I can put around here in a circle to protect the dirt, kind of keep it in a little bit. I'm hoping it leads a better result than years past. Last year we planted our potatoes around our pear tree per the Paul Gauchi Back to Eden garden method, and they were okay. He suggests not cutting them, and so I planted them whole, and I found for like every potato I planted I got maybe 3. And we have 4 kids, there are 6 of us, so we would love to have some potatoes to have the problem of figuring out how to store them or can them, and we've just never had that. So I'm hoping this year we have a good harvest. Matt went ahead and prepped this dirt area for me already. He just kind of moved the wood chips aside and put the dirt here. I'm gonna put potatoes all around. I'm gonna fill it full. I'm gonna put my potatoes in, and I need to make sure my sprouts are pointing up. That's where my actual plant's gonna grow from. And as I'm doing this, I started laying them out the opposite way, and I realized maybe that's what I've been doing wrong all these years. I think I've been doing them upside down. Whoops. So let's get those laid out. I'm spacing them a couple inches apart. Just, woo, there go all my potatoes. Did you see that? It's windy. I'm spacing them a couple inches apart, and I'm just kind of going in a circle. I'm starting at the inside and going all the way out, kind of like you'd put tater tots on a tater tot hot dish, if you know what that is. If you're not from the Midwest and you're not familiar with tater tot hot dish, it's like meat and cream, veggies in a dish, and then you top it with cheese, hopefully, in my book, and tater tots, and you just kind of space them all around and fill up the area, except I'm spacing these out a little bit. So anyways, that's what it feels like I'm doing. Yeah, if anybody has great advice for storing potatoes, I'd love to hear it. I just was watching a video.
I found this on the web.
Oh, my watch is going to tell me how to store potatoes. A couple of them got stuck together and I didn't notice, but here I want to show you what I was trying to avoid. You can see kind of that wet spot. If the potato isn't hardened off all the way, it's not creating that skin, and it can actually get kind of disease or rot in it. So when I go in to cut into the potato, it might be rotten from the inside. So I had a few that were golf ball size, so I'm planting those whole. So I am done getting all the potatoes planted for now. Potatoes are one of those things where it's going to be work throughout the season. I'm gonna have to come out here, and every time I see the greens kind of coming up, add some more dirt and compost and just kind of build it up. Again, if it starts kind of pushing away because it's getting too tall, I'm going to use some of this wire I have here to go around it. It might also help keep the kids off the pile, because right now it just looks like a pile of dirt. And I certainly don't want them playing in it, because then we're not going to have potatoes. But hopefully we have some potatoes soon. Thanks for planting potatoes with me today. Be sure to click that thumbs up if you like this video, and click that subscribe button if you haven't already to see more videos from us. Glad you got to see me again. Bye.